Good morning. So today I want to continue the subject physics and also a very important topic as far as our entrance examination is concerned. NEET, not only NEET but also all medical entrance examinations in JIPMAR and other things. Very important topic that is called electromagnetic waves. So I actually separate the topic now in order to understand easily. Then the theories of light, interference, diffraction and polarization problems. There is a procedure we have to study well now. In order to understand the electromagnetic waves, usually, just for introduction, we will see detail about theories. First, I want to express separately for electromagnetic waves. The electromagnetic wave actually introduced by the scientist Maxwell. That is in the year 1808, I think so. Very old physics. He was introduced. Light rays are nothing but electromagnetic waves. And he used Faraday's law and Ampere's law. Faraday's law, we know, integral over a closed surface E dot dl is equal to minus d phi by dt. The rate of change of magnetic flux will give the EMF, induced EMF in air loop. Modified Ampere's law, integral over a closed surface B dot dl, there is a line integral, mu naught into 1 plus epsilon naught d phi E by dt. Epsilon naught d phi E by dt is called displacement current and I is called conduction current. So this is actually introduced by the scientist. There are two currents are there. One is called displacement current, another is called conduction current. There are both the currents are available as far as the Ampere's law is concerned. Displacement current and conduction current. Usually we are having only conduction current. In addition to that, the displacement current is also there. Therefore, I plus. So you need not worry about this equation. But what the thing is, Maxwell boldly suggested that light rays are electromagnetic in nature because he was the man first calculated the velocity of electromagnetic wave by using the formula 1 divided by root of mu naught epsilon naught, 1 divided by root of mu naught epsilon. So both are comes, mu naught magnetism, epsilon naught electricity. We know mu naught 4 pi into 10 power minus 7, epsilon naught 8.85 into 10 power minus 12. Substitute, actually he got the value 3 into 10 power 8 meter per second. So this is nothing but the velocity of light. So that the property of electromagnetic wave also matches with the light. He boldly suggested that light rays are also electromagnetic in nature. So the time varying electric field is a source of magnetic field. So what is a source of magnetic field? There is a variation of electric field that itself gives the magnetic field. This gives rise to aware of electric and magnetic fields. That is called electromagnetic waves. The protection of electromagnetic wave. How the electromagnetic wave we got? Any oscillating charge should emit electromagnetic wave. So Maxwell got electromagnetic wave from the atmosphere. We know around 400 kilometers away from the earth, the region is called ionosphere region, where ions are enriched. When ultraviolet ray passes through the ionosphere region, the charges are oscillating, where produced electromagnetic wave that can be transmitted to air. Electromagnetic wave first produced by Hertz. That is the thing you have to understand. Electromagnetic wave first introduced by the scientist Maxwell. first produced in lab experimentally. Who produced first means Hertz. Very simple experiment done by the scientist Hertz. You know, he take two spheres which are connected to high induction coil. The space between the spheres filled with the air. If it is connected to induction coil, what happens? More amount of electric field is there. Because of the electric field, air gets ionized. Due to this ionization, the oscillation of electric and magnetic waves are produced that may be detected by a detector. Therefore, electromagnetic wave can be produced experimentally. So there is an advantage of Hertz. Hertz actually used the principle of Maxwell. For Maxwell, oscillating electric charges. Here, he produced electric charges in terms of induction coil, and the air itself has a ionosphere region like that. So by this, he was able to produce electromagnetic wave. This ionization, the air in the gap resulting in the high frequency oscillation of charges on the plates. Hertz actually produced the wavelength about 6 meters, very high wavelength. Hertz actually produced electromagnetic waves of very high wavelength, nearly 6 meters. Later this experiment was, there is a history of electromagnetic wave. First we know Maxwell, after that Hertz, later Bose. You know Bose, not Subhash Chandra Bose. Who is he? He is Jagadish Chandra Bose. Very important scientist who produced the electromagnetic wave still starter wavelength, nearly 25 millimeter to 5 millimeter. That is 6 meter. Here 25 millimeter to 5 millimeter. Later, this electromagnetic wave can be utilized for the communication purpose. He named this electromagnetic wave radio waves. The scientist Marconi. So immediately the word or the scientist named Marconi introduced the radio flashed in our mind. Radio is only a receiver. It is not a radio, is a separate word. It is not a correct radio wave receiver. In our house we are having radio set. The radio set is nothing but receives the radio waves. These radio waves actually utilized by the scientist Marconi for the communication purpose. So that the radio simply we called Marconi. At first there was a sweet moment by the scientist Marconi. He talked through electromagnetic wave that was received by her mother. That is a wonderful moment. Mother receives her son's wording through air. So wonderful moment. That was first the electromagnetic waves utilized for communication purpose. So those waves are called radio waves. Visible light, X-rays, gamma rays are also electromagnetic wave. Actually, Marconi transmitted electromagnetic wave over a distance of many kilometers. So electromagnetic wave travels very long distance. What is the reason? Because speed is nearly velocity of light, 3 into 10 power 8 meter per second. What are the properties? So why I am saying this property? Anyone want to ask in the examination, right? The properties of electromagnetic wave. Apart from that, we know the property. The electromagnetic wave are always transverse in nature. I already discussed C is equal to 1 by root of mu naught epsilon naught. The direction is along the vector. S vector 1 by mu naught E cross B. S is called pointing vector, the direction where the electromagnetic wave moves. The E and B are related as E is equal to CB. I want to find out the electromagnetic spectrum classification. So I have given the slide as a chart. Why I have given this as a chart? Sometime in the NEET examination, they may ask the question that what is the wavelength range and what is the frequency range, like that. So when the wavelength range actually here reduced or increased, therefore frequency value also decreased. So kindly go through the chart. Gamma rays, the wavelength range 6 into 10 power minus 13 meter to 10 power minus 16 meter. From where gamma rays we can obtain change of nuclear energy, radioactive substance. What are the uses? Gives information on nuclear structure and also medical treatment. That is for treatment of cancer and other thing we are using gamma rays, gamma radiation. X-rays 10 power minus 12 to 10 power minus 9 meters, nearly nanometer. Bombardment of high energy is on a height at no target. Energy changes of innermost orbital electron. That means fast moving electron suddenly stopped by any metal target. Medical study of crystals such as industrial radiography. These are all the uses. Sometimes UV rays 10 power minus 9 to 10 power minus 7 meter, still shorter. Rearrangement of orbital electrons as in high voltage gas discharge, arc, sun and mercury vapor lamp. It is used to sterilization of water due to its destructive action on bacteria. It is also very, very important for the reason. So these are all the uses of these UV rays. Visible light, we know we are having the visible light. The visible light 4 into 10 power minus 7 meter to 7.5 into 10 power minus 7 meters. So still wavelength going on increases. As far as the frequency going on decreases. Where it comes visible light, rearrangement of outer orbital electron gas discharge tube. To see object, without your light we cannot identify the object. IR rays, still shorter wavelength, 8 into 10 power minus 7 meter to 10 power minus 3 meter. Again the rearrangement of outer electron, change of vibrational and rotational energies. Industry, medical astronomy, fog photography. We know IR radiation during a thick fog or any dews will be there. If you are using ordinary light for getting photography, that is not clear. If you are using IR radiation as a light for getting photography, wonderful photography we can get. Then microwave, we know 10 power minus 3 meter to 0.1 meter, very high. Special electronic devices, clustron, magnetron. So many methods are there for the production of microwave, magnetron and the clustron, etc. It is used in the radar, RADAR, radar and the TV communication of TV communication, and also it is used in the molecular structure. It is also used in the molecular structure. Radio wave, very high wavelength, 0.1 meter to 10 power 4 meter. That is oscillating circuit can produce radio wave. This is very much useful for radio communication. So why I am giving this chart, kindly go through the chart, keep with you. Any one of the wavelength range may be asked, or what is the source may be asked, or what are the uses. The uppermost part, I want to find out the Earth atmosphere. The uppermost part, 80 km to 400 km, called the ionosphere, is composed of electrons, ions, that is electrons and the positive ion. There is an ozone layer at a height of 30 to 50 kilometers. What is called ozone? We know the ozone layer from 30 to 50 kilometers it occupies. Because of ozone layer only, it actually filtering out ultraviolet ray. Otherwise, without a ozone layer, ultraviolet ray directly comes and hit you. If ultraviolet ray directly hit our body, what happens? So many defects in our body. Cancer, it causes cancers, and also premature aging. So many difficulties are suffering by us. So that the ultraviolet ray is very harmful. Actually, ozone layer is used as a blanket for us to protect from the ultraviolet rays. Greenhouse effect. There is a lot of difference between ozone and the greenhouse effect. What is greenhouse effect? We know Earth is actually a separate part from the planetary system. Without a greenhouse effect, the surface temperature of the Earth may be -degrees. We cannot survive. We cannot live. Apart from that, the average temperature nearly 18 degrees centigrade of the Earth's surface. By what? This is because of our greenhouse effect. So during the daytime, all the light rays are coming from upper atmosphere. The infrared ray, very high radiation, is not allowed to pass. The energy from the sun heats the earth, then starts emitting radiation like any other hot body. Since earth is cooler than sun, its radiation is mainly the IR radiation. This radiation is unable to cross the lower atmosphere and is reflected back. So when this heat radiation, after reflection from the earth, it goes to upper atmosphere. The upper atmosphere, there are gases called greenhouse gases. These greenhouse gases actually again send out this radiation towards the earth. As such, Earth's atmosphere is rich in IR radiation. This keeps the Earth's surface warm at night also. Ozone layer, just like I said, the UV coming from the sun are harmful, cause genetic damage. Ozone layer absorbs and protects us from them. Actually, the ozone layer absorbs all the UV rays. Nowadays, we are also seeing some holes in the ozone layer. The damages. The holes means there is not holes, the ozone layer may be thinner and thinner. If ozone layer thinner and thinner, what happens? The ultraviolet ray easily passes and reaches the earth. Causes so many damage for living things. So that we have to save earth by save ozone layer. So in Antarctic, we know very heavy ice bars will be there. Even if the greenhouse effect is more, what happens? More heat will be there. Because of that more heat, all the water in the earth's surface gets heated and moves up as a steam. Due to condense, again they fall heavy rain. So the heavy rain will be appeared because of more greenhouse effect. That is also danger. That is called, we are called as global warming. For global warming, greenhouse effect is main. For our genetic damage, that is due to ultraviolet rays because of ozone layer. You should not confuse yourself the ozone and the greenhouse effect. Greenhouse effect is only for global warming. The global warming happening, what happened? The total rainfall will be increased Antarctic and other polar region gets freezed. After that, it gets heated so that the water level, sea level will be increased. Water maybe passes through the low-lying area due to flood. So many damage will occur. So these are all the things we have to keep in our mind. And also in the spectrum, the emission and absorption spectra. What is an emission spectra? That is also I want to give some. The scattering of light. What is scattering of light through the atmosphere? The scattering of light through atmosphere was given by the scientist Rayleigh. He boldly suggested that the amount of scattering inversely proportional to fourth power of wavelength. Since amount of scattering inversely proportional to fourth power of wavelength, for shorter wavelength scattering is more. So that the sky and the sea looks bluish. The question asked to you, why is sky bluish? We are having so many colors. Apart from that, it looks bluish. What is the reason? We know the visible spectrum, violet, indigo, blue. All are bluish, shorter wavelength, scattered more. During sunset and sunrise also, sun looks reddish. What is the reason? The same reason. Amount of scattering inversely proportional to fourth power of wavelength. All the shorter wavelength light rays are scattered more. Only longer wavelength ray can come and reach the observer eye. So have you very clear, you know. But unfortunately, have you anybody seen the size of the sun during set and rise? During set and rise, the size of the sun is bigger. It's a contradictory. Because during set and rise, the sun is very far away, or further away from the observer. And the body goes further away, instead of it looks smaller, but it looks bigger. What is the reason? This is due to refraction of light. The answer is refraction of light. During refraction, there is a shift of image. Even though the image is very far away, it actually shifts nearer to our eye so that it looks bigger. That is the thing I have to understand. The scattering of light through liquid, Raman effect. The scattering of light through colloidal particle, Tyndall effect. So everything you have to understand it. Raman effect, scattering of light through pure liquid. And also the spectra, two types. One is called emission spectrum. Another is called absorption spectrum. Emission spectra, any substance is heated, it emits its own characteristic color called emission spectrum. The emission spectra are three types. One is called continuous emission spectra. Another one is called line emission spectra. Another one is called band emission spectra. So these are the three categories. Any substance, any incandescent solid or any filament is heated, we are getting a spectrum in continuous without any gap. That is called continuous emission spectra. Atoms of a gas will give line emission spectra. For example, sodium in sodium vapor lamp, mercury in mercury vapor lamp. The molecules of a gas will give band emission spectra. What is absorption spectra? The emission spectra is made to pass through any absorbing material and then examined with the spectrum. It is called absorption spectra. So first we need an emission spectra. This emission spectra is made to pass through absorbing material and then examined with a spectrometer. The spectrum obtained is called absorption spectra. Absorption spectra also three types: continuous absorption spectra, line absorption spectra, band absorption spectra. What is continuous absorption spectra? So we are having a green glass. When the object are seen through the green glass, everything looks greenish. What is the reason? That glass actually absorbs all the colors except green. That spectra is called absorption spectra. Very good example, we know hibiscus, rosa, sinus. We know the color of that flower is always red. Why it looks red? Why it looks red is because it absorbs all the color except red. So these are all the things you have to understand about the absorption continuous spectra. What is a line absorption spectra? We know sodium vapor lamp will give line emission spectra that may be placed in some carbon. There is an absorbing material carbon or lamp. What happens? The carbon absorbs the lines of sodium. Therefore, instead of two yellow lines, we are getting only two dark lines. Here the sodium absorbed by carbon. Similarly, the blood solution is an example for band emission spectra. If it is passed, instead of the bands are absorbed by the absorbing material, we are getting some bands are absent. So these are all called the line and emission spectra. So you have to keep your mind. So next we can pass on to the wave optics and the photometric light as waves. So this is a theories of light. I already told you that. In order to directly go to this, I want to give the introduction. Theories of light. The theories of light. Very first question: what is light? So far we discussed in the round standard, that is geometrical optics or ray optics. We detailedly study about only laws and concepts. Whereas in these chapters we are going to see about theory. Very first question asked, what is light? This was raised to the scientist Newton. Newton boldly suggested that light is nothing but a form of energy. Light is nothing but a form of energy. Immediately he says form of energy, all the scientists are accepted. No one have guts to ask question to Newton. Which type of energy? So many questions are available by the scientists, even though they won't ask any question. After that, this energy actually transmitted from one place to another place through a tiny massless elastic particle called corpuscles. Since it passes through corpuscles, this theory is called corpuscular theory. So the corpuscular theory was given by the scientist Newton. This was very old at first. The first theory was given by the scientist Newton. So according to him, light is a form of energy transmitted from one place to another place through a tiny massless elastic particle called corpuscles, and the theory is called corpuscular theory. Everything we have discussed. But the transmission of energy through corpuscles in the form of straight line, so this theory tells about rectilinear propagation. Rectilinear means straight line. So the transmission of energy through corpuscles in the form of straight line, that is called rectilinear propagation. What is rectilinear? The transmission of energy through corpuscles in the form of straight line. Hence it is called rectilinear propagation. Whether this theory is acceptable or not, how can you understand? This can be found out. That is a headache of Newton to prove his theory on the basis of corpuscular theory. Newton boldly proved angle I is equal to angle R. So when you accept the new theory, the three concepts you have to keep in your mind, that should be obeyed, then only we can accept that theory. The first theory, angle of reflection, that means laws of reflection, angle of I always equal to angle of R. Second one, we know mu is equal to sin I by sin R, always constant. The third one, light is moving faster in rarer medium. Faster in rarer medium than the denser medium. That means C1 greater than C2. What is C1? Velocity of light in rarer medium always greater than the velocity of light in the denser medium. We have to prove all these three. These three considerations already proved by the scientist Newton. He proved angle I is equal to angle R. Mu is also equal to sin I by sin R. While he comes to prove the laws of refraction, according to Newton corpuscular theory, he got the answer C2 greater than C1. What is C2? Light is moving in the denser medium. So according to Newton's corpuscular theory, he arrived at the result light is moving faster in denser medium. Is it correct or wrong? That is a wrong concept. Newton could not be able to explain why light is moving faster in denser medium. Because even in the first year, we thoroughly understand that light is always moving faster in rarer medium. This was proved by the scientist Foucault. Foucault did so many experiments with the various media and he calculated the refractive index. In all the cases, mu is always greater than 1. That means numerator always greater than the denominator. Therefore, light is always moving faster in rarer medium. But unfortunately, Newton got light is moving faster in denser medium. Newton could not be able to explain what is the reason. So that this theory fails. After that only the hygiene. So we are going to see now. The hygiene, he boldly suggested that I can able to prove. No other scientists are not able to accept because hygiene is not such a popular scientist as Newton. Even Newton could not be able to prove it how hygiene able to prove. Apart from that various struggles, he himself forward, definitely I will prove it. I will prove it. So that the hygiene also take light is a form of HUYG. Light is a form of energy. So with the support of Newton, he boldly suggested that light is a form of energy. Immediately scientists asked so many questions to him. You are saying light is a form of energy. Which type of energy it is? There are so many energies are available. Heat energy, light energy, electrical energy, mechanical energy, thermal energy. So many energies are available. But you are saying simply energy. Which type of energy? Immediately hygiene got some frustration because the same energy was proposed by the scientist Newton. No scientist asked question. Immediately if I tell it is an energy, they are asking so many questions. Anyway, according to hygiene, he boldly suggested that this is a mechanical energy. So according to hygiene, the energy is mechanical energy. Just like our sound wave, so that we have support of sound wave. Just like sound wave, light wave also mechanical. So again he wants to explain if it is a mechanical energy, which type of mechanical energy. We know mechanical energy, whether it is longitudinal or transverse. Hygiene himself considered they are longitudinal. So the question is asked, be careful. According to hygiene, energy is mechanical, but it is correct or wrong, we will discuss later. According to hygiene, it is a mechanical wave. According to hygiene, it is a longitudinal wave. Then he was able to explain the transmission of energy through copper spools, not in the form of straight line, but in the form of waves. Hence the theory is called wave theory. So hence wave theory was proposed by the scientist Hygiene. Corpuscular theory was proposed by the scientist Newton. Wave theory was proposed by the scientist Huygens. Why he called it a wave theory? Because the transmission of energy through copper spools, not in the form of straight line, but in the form of waves. So all the scientists have accepted here and tell about the wave theory. But again, some scientists ask question, you are saying it is a mechanical energy. For the propagation of mechanical energy, medium is necessary or not? Again the question raised. We cannot escape from the medium because just like our sound wave means, the medium should be. So he also accepts there is a medium. Then again the question asked, what is a medium? Immediately answer, it is ether. Ether as a medium. Whether ether where it is, he himself also have a doubt. Apart from that, he boldly suggested that the medium ether. Again the question raised to him, what is ether? Everything, so many questions asked to him. So he want to escape from that. If you accept my theory, I will explain it. So that only the scientist boldly explain the theory. That is I have given in the slides. To explain interference, diffraction and polarization, to assume the light as a wave motion. Huygens boldly suggested that what is a wavefront? Wavefront is nothing but the locus of all the points. What is called locus? L-O-C-U-S. So this is a word we are always used in the mathematics, in the analytical geometry. The locus is nothing but a line joining. The line joining, the locus of all the points in the same phase of oscillation, or all the particles which are in the same state of vibration. That line joining will give the locus. There are three types of waves here possible. Number one is called spherical wave. If the source is at finite distance, so I take a source, the source sends out light in all possible directions. So these are the copper spools in the media. So these are the particles which are in the same state of vibration, find the locus. So this is the locus. Again, this sends the light energy to the other copper spools, again also find the locus. So like that, light energy transmitted from one place to another place. This line joining is in the form of part of a spherical wave. These waves are called spherical wave. For this, locus is called first wavefront, this is called second wavefront, and so on. What is the principle of Huygens says? Each and every wavefront acted as a new source for the corresponding source. What is the meaning of that? For the first wavefront, the main source acted as a source. For second wavefront, the first wavefront itself is a source. For third wavefront, second wavefront as a source. Like that, light energy is transmitted. If the source is at infinite, we don't know where it comes. We are getting light. For example, we are getting light from sun. We don't know sun is far away from our earth. So if you are receiving the light rays from sun, what happened? Now find the locus of all the particles. The locus of all the particles are in the form of plane. Then the waves are called plane wavefront. So what is the entrance question they may ask in the NEET examination? If the source is at finite, dash form of wave is formed. Dash means you have to, finite means spherical. The source is at infinite distance, means plane. Then if the source is linear source, what is the meaning of linear source? Have you seen anywhere? Linear source. So the light rays are coming from a vertical opening. The vertical opening, the light rays are coming from vertical opening. This vertical opening is called slit. You know, the spherical opening is called hole. So here light rays are coming from the slit, vertical opening. They always produce cylindrical wave. These are the things you have to keep your mind. The Huygens principle, just now I told to you, provides a geometrical method to determine the position of wavefront. Each point on a wavefront acts as a fresh source of secondary wavelets with the speed of light in the medium. The new wavefront at any later time is given by the forward envelope of the secondary wavelets at that time. So that means each and every wavefront acted as a new source for the corresponding wavefront. This principle is called Huygens principle. So from the Huygens principle, he wants to explain so many waves. That is called superposition of waves. That is called interference and everything. So according to Huygens, his headache is to prove the laws of reflection. Huygens also proved angle is equal to angle. He also proved mu is equal to sin I by sin R. Sin I by sin R. And also he clearly proved C1 greater than C2. That Newton could not be able to prove it. Light is always moving faster in parallel medium. This also applicable. He also proved the total internal reflection also. Total internal reflection. Apart from that, so many proof was given by the scientist Huygens. He was not able to explain the two questions asked by other scientists. What are the two questions? So according to him, he himself considered the medium ether. No explanation was given about ether entire theory. And also the same question raised to Huygens again. He was not able to explain about ether. So that this theory fails. This theory also fails, just like our Newton theory. What is the reason? The two reasons. Number one is Huygens could not be able to explain about the medium he considered, ether. And also he himself considered it is a longitudinal wave motion. That is also wrong. Later it was proved as transverse wave. Later only the theory, electromagnetic theory. Just now we have seen electromagnetic waves. The light rays are nothing but electromagnetic waves, not mechanical wave. This was given by the scientist Maxwell. That is a third theory. It is called Maxwell's electromagnetic. This electromagnetic theory was given by the scientist Maxwell. He boldly suggested that light rays are nothing but electromagnetic in nature. Since they are electromagnetic, they won't require any medium. Medium is not necessary. So boldly, the medium problem over. After that, we know the light, electric wave, as well as the magnetic wave are mutually perpendicular to each other and also perpendicular to the advancing direction. Since light rays are vibration of the particle are perpendicular, they are always transverse in nature, not longitudinal. According to Maxwell's theory, the light is transmitted transverse in nature, not in longitudinal. These two problems are immediately solved by the scientist Maxwell. Hence, Maxwell's theory is a latest theory also. So, light rays are also transverse in nature and also they are electromagnetic wave. So, the failure of Newton we know, the failure of Huygens we know. Even though by using Maxwell's electromagnetic theory, we cannot be able to explain photoelectric effect. In order to explain photoelectric effect also we will see detailedly in the quantum physics. In order to explain photoelectric effect, light should behave particle nature. Since Maxwell boldly suggested that they are wave nature, so by using Maxwell's theory, we cannot explain photoelectric effect. So that this theory also fails. Then what is the correct? Which theory? So the next theory we have to depend, and the next theory we will see in the next class. Thank you.